So question 6 says graph the line containing the point P and having a slope M. So again, we have this point P. So P is given by the point 7, -3. So 7, -3 again is off my graph. 7 and then down 3. 1, 2, 3 would actually be just about here. So it's graphable. Just I didn't make a big enough piece of graph. So that's going to be point P. Now, what's this slope undefined mean? One of the things in math is division by 0 is undefined. So what I mean by that is if I give you, say, 8 divided by 2, you would say 2 goes in 8 4 times, and you could check it because 4 times 2 does equal 8. So division by 2 is defined because 8 divided by 2 gives me a 4. That's defined. 4 is a value. So if you divide by a number, you're supposed to get an answer. Now, if I do 8 divided by 0, on my calculator, you'll see 8 divided by 0 will give me actually an error. Attempted calculation contains division by 0, calculation fails. So you cannot divide by 0 on a calculator. So the question is 8 divided by 0 is what? Well, you may think, well, the answer is 0. Well, we just said it can't be 0, but if you want to say it's 0, that's fine. If I do say 8 divided by 0 is 0, what has to hold true is 0 times 0 must get you back to 8. Does 0 times 0 get you back to 8? So in other words, if you have $8 and divide among no people, it makes no sense. $8 divided among no people, but that doesn't even comprehend. So there's no meaning in that. So 0 would not be true here. So some people say, well, the answer's got to be 8. Well, 8 divided among 0 again, if you say it equals 8, then what has to hold true is 8 times 0 has to equal 8. Well, that's not true either. So again, the question is, well, what is 8 divided by 0? Well, 8 divided by 0 is whatever you can multiply 0 by to get 8. Well, remember the multiplication property is 0. If you multiply anything by 0, it can never equal 8 because it's always going to equal 0. So 0 times something times 0 would have to always equal 0. So this is never going to be true. So again, the question is, well, what is 8 divided by 0? Well, what happens is we can't define it. So we use the phrase undefined. So undefined means the 0 is in the denominator. So an undefined slope means there is change in y, but there is not a change in x. So if you want to write that as a ratio, you can write it as 1 over 0 would be the slope. So if I have a point 7, -3, what they're saying is you can run up, but you can't go left or right. There's no x change. So you can run up, but you can't go left or right. So notice how an undefined slope is actually going to create what we call a vertical line. So there is change in y, but I can't change in x. So this creates what we call a vertical line. So an undefined slope means there's change in y, but no change in x. So all you can do is move up and down and not left and right. So it has to remain in a vertical line. So if you graph 7, -3 with the slope of undefined, what that's going to create is what we call a vertical line.